Hey Raiders Nation, welcome back to your favorite source for everything silver and black. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button because today's episode is one of the most unexpected, inspiring, and straight-up wild stories coming out of Las Vegas this offseason. We're diving deep into the shocker that came straight from Pete Carroll's mouth. Trust me, this is not your average offseason hype piece. It's bigger, heavier, and more real than anything you've heard in Raider Nation lately. You see, when a new coach takes over, especially someone with the resume of Pete Carroll, all eyes are on his every move. From free agent signings to draft picks to locker room speeches, fans and analysts watch closely. And with Carroll teaming up with GM John Spytek, there was an immediate sense that the Raiders were heading in a different, more structured direction. That vision is starting to take shape, and one player completely off everyone's radar is suddenly right in the middle of it. Let's put this in perspective. The Raiders have added a ton of high-profile talent. Jeremy Chin, a dynamic playmaker at safety, was brought in to beef up the defense. Linebacker Jermaine Pratt, a leader from Cincinnati, joined the team during minicamp. And let's not forget the 2025 NFL Draft, where the Raiders made bold moves, selecting 11 rookies, including RB Ashton Janney, with the 6th overall pick. With so much star power flowing in, everyone expected the headlines to follow those names. But Pete Carroll, the man who turned raw energy into a Super Bowl champion in Seattle, had something else on his mind. During his post-minicamp press conference, reporters leaned in, ready for some praise on rookies like Brock Bowers or hype around the new-look defense. Instead, Carroll dropped the bomb. My favorite guy to watch is Laki Tasi, and the room went silent. Wait, who? That name didn't appear on any preseason buzz list, mock draft, or top 100 ranking. So naturally, Raider Nation had questions. Let's rewind and talk about who Laki Tasi really is. He's not your traditional football prospect. Tesai hails from Australia, and before the NFL, his world was all about rugby. He's a beast of a human. 6 feet 7 inches, 353 pounds, and built like an armored tank. Through the NFL's International Player Pathway, IPP, program, he got a shot with the Raiders. It's rare for international players to crack an NFL roster, and even rarer for someone with absolutely no prior football experience to stand out this early in their journey. Initially, Tesai was slotted as a defensive lineman. The plan was to mold him into a disruptive interior presence on defense. But once the coaches got a good look at his footwork, mobility, and size, they decided to flip the script. Within weeks, he was converted into an offensive guard, a position that demands intelligence, technique, and power. Not only did Tesai embrace the change, he impressed the coaching staff almost immediately. And that's when Pete Carroll started taking serious notice. He said it bluntly. He came in knowing absolutely nothing about football and made tremendous progress. That kind of praise from a coach like Carroll isn't thrown around lightly. He's worked with countless All-Pros, Hall of Famers, and elite prospects. For Tesai to earn a shout-out over all the Raiders' big additions, that tells you this kid is doing something very, very right. Now, imagine being in Tesai's shoes. You've never played American football. You're thousands of miles from home. You're surrounded by elite athletes who've trained for this game their whole lives. And yet, you're out there earning the respect of a Super Bowl winning coach. That's more than just athletic ability. It's grit, heart, and the kind of underdog fire that Raider Nation eats up. One of the biggest reasons Tesai even has a shot at contributing is the current state of the Raiders' offensive line. Center Jackson Powers Johnson looks like a long-term solution, sure, but the guard spots? Still a mystery. Dylan Parham and Jordan Meredith both face contract uncertainty. Alex Kappa is trying to bounce back from a rough season in Cincy. Rookie Caleb Rogers is talented, but still green. It's the perfect storm for a newcomer to emerge, especially one with the size and potential of Laki Tasi. Thanks to the IPP rules, Tesai has the luxury of developing on the practice squad without counting toward the 16-man limit. That gives the Raiders the flexibility to keep him around and train him intensively without sacrificing a valuable roster spot. It also gives Tesai a rare opportunity to grow at his own pace, something most rookies don't get. And trust me, He's using every rep to get better. Carroll even compared Tesai's journey to that of Jordan Mailata, the Eagles star left tackle who also came from rugby roots. Mailata, once laughed off as a gimmick, is now an anchor on one of the NFL's top offensive lines. Could Tesai follow that path? It's early, but the signs are promising. In Raider Nation, you know we love a good redemption arc. Let's take a closer look at what makes Tesai stand out physically. This man doesn't just have size. He moves like someone 50 pounds lighter. His footwork, even in drills, has caught coaches by surprise. His ability to reset, bend at the knees, and engage defenders with balance is rare for someone so new to the game. And let's not forget the rugby background. They give him a natural sense of contact, leverage, and aggression. Mentally, he's absorbing everything. Teammates have mentioned how quickly Tesai picks up playbook concepts and adjusts to coaching. That speaks volumes. You can't teach football instincts overnight, but you can teach someone willing to learn. And by all accounts, Tesai's work ethic is elite. He's often one of the last guys off the field, staying late for extra film sessions and walkthroughs. It's no surprise that Carroll is drawn to this kind of player. Throughout his career, Pete has built teams around culture guys, players who bring the right mindset, even if they're not stars yet. Tesai fits that mold perfectly. And in a locker room undergoing transformation, his humility and hunger are exactly what the Raiders need. Let's not forget the bigger picture here. The Raiders are redefining what it means to wear the silver and black. Under Carroll and Spytek, this team is leaning into player development, versatility, and discipline. They're moving away from the chaos of the past and building something real. And Tesai, he represents that new identity. Raw, physical, passionate, and ready to prove himself every single day. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Is this hype too soon? Is Carroll just throwing the media off? Well, Pete doesn't operate like that. He's strategic. If he's publicly praising Tesai, there's a reason. Whether it's to motivate others, reward effort, or signal a future role. This statement means something. So what's next for Tesai? Training camp is where we'll find out if this fairy tale turns into reality. With full pads, live reps, and preseason action ahead, the coaching staff will get to see if he can handle real NFL pressure. And if he can, don't be surprised if this unknown international prospect suddenly becomes a legitimate depth piece, or even more. Imagine a future where Laki Tasi becomes a starter, pancaking defenders on Sundays at Allegiant Stadium. The fans would go wild. The IPP would gain major credibility, and the Raiders would have found yet another diamond in the rough. A fitting chapter for a franchise that has always thrived on defying expectations. So, Raider Nation, what do you think? Is Tesai the real deal? Will he be this year's breakout surprise? Or is this just a story for training camp hype? Drop your thoughts below in the comments. Let's get the conversation going. This is the kind of storyline that brings us together as fans. If you're fired up about this story like I am, hit that like button and share this video with your fellow Raiders diehards. Subscribe to the channel for daily Las Vegas Raiders news and updates. We've got everything from camp battles to roster moves to deep analysis coming your way. Turn on notifications and, as always, just win, baby.